Ladies and gentlemen, the man needs no introduction, but I'll give him one anyway. His new album, Forever, Legendary Edition, with star-studded new collaborations, is going to be out wherever you get your music on October 24th. The 4-episode docuseries, Thank You, Good Night, the Bon Jovi story, is still available on Hulu, which, as you know, is part of the whole Disney world. And the John Bon Jovi Soul Kitchen is something we're about to talk about, part of the JBJ Soul Foundation. Go to jbjsf.org. Ladies and gentlemen, John Bon Jovi is back here on the show. Good to see you, man.
Thank you, Rich. Great to be back.
You got it. So I don't even know where to start. Let's just talk some ball.
Let's.
How does that sound?
Let's start with the Pats.
That's the one you want to start with?
Of course I do.
Okay. Now, again, this is part of your, you go way back with Belichick, right? And Kraft.
That's true. It's true. People,
and RKK, as we call him?
RKK.
Right.
As I'm known in New Jersey as the Crown Prince, not quite the king because of Bruce. No one understood why my relations with the Pats were so deep for so long. And it's because of the Parcells-Belichick family tree. And it goes back to when they were both at the Giants in the latter 80s when I was allowed to be the mascot. And
come on now.
And I truly was allowed to be on the sidelines as long as I put all that long hair up in a hat and stayed out of the way. Parcells actually used to let me come to practice. I was in the locker room when Norwood went wide right. You know, I mean, I was in the locker room. I was on the sidelines. I have a ring. You know,
from that Giants Super Bowl.
Giants team. If you see the NFL films footage, I'm in the locker room. So
as they're celebrating.
I'm with them while they're celebrating afterwards. Okay. Yeah, before they celebrated, as you know, with Wellington Mara, who was still alive.
May he rest.
They sat down and did an Our Father before. That's how early I was in the locker room. I mean, I was there, right?
Yeah.
So wherever Parcells and Belichick went, I went. And so when they went up to New England, I went up. And then I befriended Mr. Kraft and from the mid-'90s when they lost that first Super Bowl, or second Super Bowl to Green Bay. And so my relations are deep there. But the Pats are turning things around, and I'm digging it. This was a big win.
I mean, Drake May looked spectacular on Sunday night.
He's a good one.
And as I was talking about on the show the other day, when you talk about a relentless quarterback who, when he rolls out and extends a play, becomes that much more dangerous, and you can't sack him, and he becomes more dangerous when you attempt to sack him. Normally, you're referring to Josh Allen in that building. I was
going to say, most definitely.
Right, but on Sunday night, we're referring to Drake May in that way.
He was a good student, right? And I'm digging the coaching change because Mike, who you knew as a player, and I knew as a player, I'm loving the energy. It's a different energy.
Right.
Not to say any other one was bad, but it's a different energy. It's a youthful energy. He feels like he's coaching the team that's playing at your school.
Right.
And I dig that. I like that he's in the hallway high-fiving the guys on the way into the locker room. And I like in the team meetings that the guys are telling jokes.
And he's also warming up with the guys, going at him and like he's putting on pads himself, which is 100% contagious. And by our radio audience just returned here on ESPN Radio, presented by Progressive Insurance and also Sirius XM, part of our Disney Plus and ESPN app live stream, talking to John Bon Jovi here on the program. We just talked about the current state of the Patriots, but let me just go back old school. Did you got your favorite Parcells story? Bill Parcells, when you said you were in an old Giants stadium, right? Following this team and in the locker room with them celebrating the championship in 1990.
I can remember the first time that I was allowed.
Yes.
And you got to think this is 1989 in September, October. And Sean Landetta, the old punter, number 5, got me an invitation to come to practice. And at those days, it wasn't open to the public. It was in the parking lot of Giants Stadium. And George Young, the GM, is there, and they're looking at this guy pull up in a red Ferrari, long hair down to his, past his shoulders. I get out of my Ferrari, and I go into practice. First thing Parcells does is yell at me. Now, A, I'm from Jersey, so I'm used to being yelled at. But B, I went, he's my Pop Warner coach. I get it. And so we hit it off immediately. And because I earned the respect of he and then a young guy named Belichick and a young guy named Charlie Weiss, I was allowed to come back a second time, a third time, a fourth time. But he always would, basically yell at me, but with a wink and a nod.
What was he yelling with you about, just in general?
Get the hell out of the way, I was out shagging punts. when they were in New England, literally on the field shagging punts in blue jeans and boots, and him, screaming at me like he's dad. But I used to try to get away with murder, and by that point, I almost could.
Because of who you are in New Jersey.
I just, I earned that respect of staying out of the way and never knowing that to ask the follow-up question.
Yes.
And knowing when to shut up and when to not shut up. So I literally was lucky enough to hang out with them a lot when I was young.
I'll just share with you my favorite Parcells story in the 20-plus years that I heard with NFL Network.
Yeah.
Paul Tagliabue told me this story. I've told this story many times here, so these guys have heard it. They've heard all my stories, but like we're old married couples here. That Tagliabue went to a Jets practice standing at midfield, and the Jets defensive line group was going through goal line drills on the goal line 50 yards away, and Parcells was tearing them all a new one from midfield.
Got it.
And Tagliabue at one point says, Bill, you and I are the same age. I can't see 10 yards down the field. How can you see 50 yards down the field to start, ripping these guys? And he says, I can't see anything. And he pulls out a list of names. He goes, I got 10 guys I was going to get on in practice today. I'm on 3. Stick around. I got 7 more to go.
Sounds perfect. That would be him. Yeah.
So you were one of the guys he was yelling at?
Absolutely. I was the mascot. I was one of one. Okay. So I got yelled at whenever I was around.
I bet. How did you get hooked up with Jaworski for Arena League stuff back in the day?
When I was looking to get into football,
sure,
and the arena opportunity came up, there was a guy that was my age named Craig Spencer, and he and I co-owned the team.
Right.
So he was rooted in Philadelphia, and I would drive down from Jersey. He knew Jaworski, who we then hired to be our president.
Okay.
And so, Craig and I owned the team. Ron worked for the team. We needed football expertise. What did I know about running a football team, even an arena team?
Sure.
But we made it a very successful venture for the time that I was in it. And, we won an Arena Bowl championship, and it was cool. And then, from there, I went on.
Yeah, you went on. And so you're a diehard football fan. So you root for the Giants, the Patriots?
Yeah, I will never root against the Giants.
Okay.
Or I'll never root against the Eagles. I'm
So what are you doing Thursday night, man?
Yeah, I'm staying out of it. That's what I'm doing.
Right.
I'm staying out of it. But I'm happy for the Eagles. And the Giants, I hope, are turning things around. I miss the old Giants. But it's a classic organization who have been there forever. And I'll never say a bad word about it.
Did you ever play it in high school?
Not. By high school, I was done. I was too small. I played Pop Warner junior high, but then I was done.
Yeah, because New Jersey is a massive football state.
It's
churning out
now.
Stars after stars after
it's
stars.
not Texas or California or Florida, but it's better now.
Right.
My high school never won a game when I was there. Never.
What high school was it?
Sayreville High School. They never won a game when I was there. Then they turned things around many, many years later. But when I was there,
I mean, I'm across for the Outer Bridge from Staten Island, from Sayreville, New Jersey. It was the first ever multi-theater movieplex I've ever seen in my entire life. I think I saw 5 James Bond movies over 10 years going down to Sayreville, New Jersey to see in that movie. I've never seen it in my entire life.
Well, come down there now. You'll see the John Bon Jovi rest stop and the high school. And
do you have a rest stop on the turnpike?
Yeah, right there. That one.
No, the Parkway.
The one in Sayreville.
Oh, no kidding. Yeah. Do you have any say on what's in this rest stop? I mean, this is big time. You and Admiral Halsey, man, have rest stops.
No, the state did it, but it's cool. It's funny because millions of people go by it, every day.
We do other stuff there too.
Milepost 124.
Yeah. There you go.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're ever at Milepost 124 in need of,
Jersey.
A rest of some sort.
Pretzel, hamburger, T-shirt.
All right, so this Forever Legendary Edition, available everywhere. You get your music Friday, October 24th. I know you were talking about how I can't refer to you as the King of New Jersey.
No, the Crown Prince.
Okay, because the King of New Jersey you're saying is Springsteen.
Bruce, absolutely.
And he's on this collaboration on this album. What is that like when you and Bruce are together recording?
Oh, it's awesome. He's a dear friend. He was my childhood hero. He's been like a big brother to me, really my whole career. And in the case of this record, I came to visit you a year ago and put this record out with the anticipation that I was healed, and everyone that knows that I had this throat surgery, and I wasn't up to my standard. I just wasn't up to my standard. So there wasn't a tour. But I loved the album, and it was received so well that I called friends and I said, listen, this record deserves a second chance. And I asked whether it was Bruce to Jelly Roll to young to old to country to rock to, you know, girls and guys, to sing a verse, do a features record, if you will. And I wrote a couple of new songs. One which is called Red, White, and Jersey, a new single. And so we're re-releasing the record. And great songs are even betterer with these collaborations. And, you know, having Bruce sing with me officially for the first time on a song called Hollow Man, it's been received very well. And, you know, it's cool. It's just a way to re-release the record, tell the world that I'm healthy finally, and get back to work.
Well, first of all, great to hear that.
Yeah,
great to see you. You look awesome and you sound great. And so, when did you first meet Bruce Springsteen? When did that happen?
In the latter 70s. The first time I was in a cover band, it's like 1978. We're playing a lot of R&B. We were sort of like the Muppets version of the Asbury Jukes. I had 5 horn players. I was underage. I was playing in the bars. I'm 17 years old.
Yeah.
And one night, having, you know, known that he's always been around, I turned around at my own microphone on the stage, and boom, he's on stage with us. And we sang together. So the next day when I go back to high school, I'm telling the teacher, you know, what'd you do last night? Well, I watched Dallas. What did you do last night? I was singing with Bruce down in Asbury.
Nice.
Because, you know, the Jukes and the E Street Band were all from there, and chances were that they were in the bars when you were. So it was good fortune for me to have your heroes be so close.
And so when you said he's been a big brother to you, what do you mean by that?
I mean, throughout my career, you know, we always looked up to the E Street Band and the Asbury Jukes. Johnny produced some of my very first demos. You know, like I say, I've known Bruce since I'm in high school. And so they were always, you know, thumbs up, wink, and a nod, you know, have the occasional burger together. But as I got older and we got older, it's in that documentary. Like we go take these 100-mile drives where we just, no radio, no phones, nobody. Now we can talk like 2 older, wiser men who have been around the block a few times, you know, and somebody needs somebody to talk to every once in a while, including even him, you know.
So you're just where you leave, you're incommunicado, you're on the road, and just talking about life, you and Bruce Springsteen on the road. Does he have a rest stop?
He does not.
Damn straight he doesn't. Who's the king now? Do you drive him past your rest stop?
Yeah, right. No, we haven't. I don't know that I have.
That would be good.
But it's pretty funny, right?
You know,
there's a flex.
You got a lot.
Got to pee?
Come on. If we had waited for your rest stop, you'd have to hold it in. Well, that must be so cool. I mean, honestly,
there's just one of the many kind of cool stories, you know, hanging out with he or Southside throughout my life, and it's all true. And he says the same thing. I mean, it's for the first, I don't know, 5 times you'd wish a cop would pull you over because you want to roll down the window and go, "Hey, how you doing?" Yeah. But there have been times now over the years where we have pulled into a place and, you know, gone somewhere, and it's funny. It's funny.
Well, you can finish it up. I know you.
We've done everything from going to. We went to a flea market. I mean, we pulled into a flea market.
You and Bruce Springsteen going to a flea market.
Just walk through the aisles of the flea market. You know, we go to an ice cream parlor, pull in to get a water somewhere, especially during the early stages of my throat surgery where he had to do all the talking. I remember we pulled into a liquor store to just pick up some waters, you know.
Right.
Keep my whistle wet.
Right.
And a guy went in this store, and I'm sitting in the car. And the guy comes running out of the store because now I realize, sitting in the passenger seat, that he realizes that Bruce is in the store. Yeah. And he goes running back in with a pen, and I'm chuckling in the car watching. And then the guy gets his autograph, and now he's walking back to his car, and he just glances over his shoulder at what he realizes is Bruce's car and sees me in the passenger seat, loses his mind, you know? So it was like funny things like that. Or there was a day, I remember there was a guy at a VFW, like one of the good old collections on a Saturday afternoon where you're sitting at a stoplight and the guy has a bucket and he wants change, you know, for the VFW.
Yeah.
And I happened on this day to have $1 in my pocket, thank goodness. And roll down my window and I give the guy the couple bucks. And he leans down to, in this little car to look in to say, hey, thanks, mister. And he sees it's me. But then he looks over to the passenger seat and sees it's me and Bruce. And this guy older than me is running down the street to go and tell the other guys on the bucket brigade that we're going. And, it's just that kind of goofy Jersey stories that we have.
Have you ever been at, say, like a wedding and or something, or anything? You've been in a bar, somebody's karaokeing your song or something like that, and that must happen, right? And
yeah, there's a famous embarrassing YouTube thing at Charlie Weiss's son's wedding.
Okay.
When the trumpet player starts playing the bass line of Living on a Prayer, and I'm going, oh, here it comes. And I got to get up with the wedding band and sing. I had to. It's Charlie Jr.'s wedding, I had to do it. But, that's because I love the Weiss family. Believe me, it wasn't because...
Well, has there ever been a moment where you heard somebody butchering your song so badly?
Yeah, it was that day with the trumpet player. That wasn't my favorite version. That's my love of Charlie.
Just for your own brand, you had to just stop it and
That's
take
my love
over.
of the Weiss family. So there you go.
Oh my gosh, that is outstanding.
Yeah.
Tell me about the Soul Kitchen, please. The John Bon Jovi Soul Kitchen. Please tell me about that.
Our charitable foundation has built affordable housing since the days of my running the arena football team.
Sure.
The way that I was going to ingratiate ourselves to the community in Philadelphia was to try to be as philanthropic as the Big Four. Mm-hmm. We started with affordable housing, and then in the economic downturn of 2008, my wife, Dorothea, conceptualized what became the Soul Kitchen.
Yes.
There's no prices on the menu. It's a beautiful farm-to-table restaurant. You would never know the difference between somebody who can and cannot afford to pay. There is a suggested donation. So if Rich Eisen walks in and puts down $30 on, I don't know, $20 on the table, it covers your meal and the price of somebody else's meal. Mm-hmm. If you come in and you volunteer, you are immediately empowered and you've earned your meal. So if a 12-year-old boy comes in and says, I want to earn my meal, we're giving him a certificate to bring his whole family back. And we're feeding him a beautiful farm-to-table. There's no soda pop or ice cream in this, right? It's good and good for you. No government subsidies. And so the shortfall is covered by the foundation. If you want to donate and affect change, it happens. And then we started this flagship in Red Bank some 12, 13, 14 years ago. The second one came after Hurricane Sandy, when we realized that service providing was key. So people who need more volunteer opportunities, we have a food pantry, a food bank, a culinary program, and help with your social services.
Yes.
Now, here's the kicker, and I learned this when my eldest son went to Notre Dame. Schools, colleges, universities, there's kids on university campuses that are having a hard time making ends meet with food. And so we went to Rutgers University in Newark and explained to the chancellor that your food pantry is full. We should put a Soul Kitchen here for the kids who are, in need of food. So then Rutgers, Newark, Jersey City University, and so we have 4 of them now. And they're there to feed people and, those in need, and also to empower those who come and need to eat because they've earned their meal.
Awesome.
Yeah, and it really works.
Yeah, for more information, go to jbjsf.org. Red Bank's an awesome town. My parents retired to Marlboro. So it's right down the street.
Yeah.
So Route 9.
Yeah.
I think that's something like that. I'm just trying to figure that out. It's been a while.
Yeah, 9 and 35.
And and I'm just so jacked that you come here
Thanks,
as often
brother.
as you have. You got a Super Bowl prediction before I leave you.
No, because
us.
everything's already topsy-turvy. You would have thought that the Eagles were invincible. You would have thought that KC was invincible. You thought Baltimore had a great shot this year.
Right.
So, I mean, does Buffalo have it or not after last week? Who knows? Anything can happen.
Right. And the Lions and the Bucks look pretty darn good.
I loved the Lions last season. Who didn't fall in love with the Lions last season?
Hey, man, and when you were first, as you said, tucking your hair under your hat, hanging out with the Giants and Parcells, Lions and Bucks being 2 of the best teams in the NFC are like, good luck with that.
Good luck with that.
You know what I mean?
It's that's why we all love the NFL so much.
Yeah, I think you were in the locker room of the big sombrero in Tampa.
Yeah,
that's right. That's where that Super Bowl took place.
That's where it was. Yeah, that was the first Gulf War. Whitney Houston singing the national anthem.
It
was a hell of a day.
Right.
Hell of a day.
Have you ever had a stage, offered a stage like that or wanted to? The
Super Bowl?
Yes, sir.
One crazy year that Tampa Bay beat Oakland.
Yes.
They created what was supposed to be some, big deal. When It's My Life was out, it's a monster song.
Right.
And they say, no, we're going to create like the second Super Bowl. It's going to be right after the whistle blows and you play at the trophy ceremony. So I technically did that.
Okay.
It sucked. Well, because, the game is over.
Right.
So we were like, okay, instead of being one of 5 acts in that halftime show,
right,
you'll be featured right when the whistle blows and they're giving the trophy away. And we played in the end zone. It's like the game was over. So, no, since then, I hadn't had the opportunity and we passed on it once. And so, no, it didn't work out for us. Well, but that's cool.
Well, I mean, I
don't mind.
You're a fan, and you probably like going as a fan. You know what I mean?
I love it. I love it. Absolutely.
At John Bon Jovi, Twitter, Instagram, and of course jbjsf.org to find out more about the John Bon Jovi Soul Kitchen. Thank you. Good night. The Bon Jovi story is available on Hulu right now, but don't go there just yet because we're not done with this interview. And in the new album, Forever Legendary Edition, hits wherever you get your music on Friday, October 24th. You are the man, sir.
Thank you, brother. It's
Thank
great
you
to
for
be back.
Awesome to have you anytime.
Thanks,
obviously.
Rich.
Hey, you made it all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Check us out every single day streaming live on Disney Plus and the ESPN app 12 to 3 Eastern.